Okay, welcome aboard. So today we have Jai Anderson with us. And so Jai, g'day mate, how you going?
I'm good, mate. It's an absolute honor to be jumping on here and having a chat to you. It's usually the other way around, dude, so I'm pretty excited.
So just quickly, tell us about yourself and what you're up to these days.
Quickly, yeah. I am known as Jai, that Aussie metal guy. I've been floating around in music media since around 2016. Um, I grew up in Queensland. I moved down here when I was about 15, almost 16,
Yeah.
to Loxton
Oh
in
yeah,
South
Loxton. Yeah,
Australia. I had a house fire at 15, battled addiction, buried
yeah,
another brother in my 20s.
yeah,
More recently, I battled cancer.
yeah. Crazy.
Life's throwing quite a bit of shit at me. I'll throw me into the flames quite a few times, and I've
Yeah,
definitely found a way to rise through it all. These days, I do run a metal webzine podcast. I've done close to 666 odd interviews with bands and artists such as yourself all over the bloody
yeah,
world,
yeah.
dude. And I'm still here, still fighting,
Awesome,
still kicking ass and chatting to bands, dude.
awesome. And we'll just quickly talk about your so it's Crank.
Yes,
So,
crank.com is what I've been running.
yeah.
Started as a guest reviewer in 2016 and now
Okay,
run
yeah.
it. So
Oh,
own
sweet.
and run it.
Sweet, awesome. And that's like, so you guys do like interviews and reviews and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
also
well, I
see,
started as a
sorry,
guest
man.
reviewer. I
Yeah,
started as a guest reviewer back in 2016 and
yeah,
fast just kept running with it.
yeah,
Kind of grew and grew and grew as a reviewer, then moved into interviews
yeah,
and been pushing Crank out a fair bit of late. We do a whole bunch of interviews, we do reviews, gig photography stuff as well, all
yeah,
that whole gamut involving the music webzine scene.
yeah. Sweet, sweet. Because yeah, I mean, I'm back in the metal scene now. But I think I left when Double Dragon split. I think it was about 2012. So I was a bit out of the loop, but I was kind of watching it like from outside the boundaries kind of thing. And I had seen like I'd heard about you. Um, and I don't know how our paths crossed, but probably through Killer, I think. Well, we were talking one day, and I saw about that you beat cancer, and I was just like, "That's crazy, man." And we got talking about, I think it was the house fire that you went through, and me, I've been in a house fire too, so I know exactly what that's like. And I think when I was just kind of compelled to learn about more of your story, and then seeing you out at gigs and stuff, and knowing that the stuff that you do with Killer as well from Storm the Crown, who's like an all-time like dear friend of mine. So it's kind of like I just thought you're one of those guys. We're just instantly friends. Friends of a friend is like that kind of thing. And yeah, I just well, first of all, let's talk about the fire at 15. That must have been crazy. Um,
That was a crazy time. See, to talk about the forest, to talk about when we moved. So
yeah,
we moved down from Queensland. I'm not saying I had it harder than most, but it wasn't
yeah,
easy.
yeah,
My mum had me at a young age, and then kind of being a single mum, she just kind of had bad taste in men, and it just got
yeah,
progressively worse.
yeah,
She ended up dating a speed cook from Queensland, and she was doing some bad things up in Queensland. So she's
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm gonna move to Queensland." From Queensland to Loxton, South Australia. I grew up in Redcliffe. So
Okay,
we came down from Redcliffe. I would have been 15, nearly 16. So that was a bit of a change coming from a big school up in Queensland. Like
yeah,
we had, it was a pretty multicultural school to coming to some little country town in
yeah,
the middle of nowhere as
yeah,
well, especially the reasons for that.
yeah,
And we ended up here for about 6 months, and then my mother thought it was a good idea to move my little brother's dad, who she wasn't with, but he was the speed manufacturer, down
yeah,
from Queensland, and then they just proceeded to set up an operation in the back shed of the property as
yeah,
well. So they spent a lot of time on the gear. There was drugs around. It
yeah,
wasn't good. So my brother was nearly 4. He
yeah,
got Everyone was kind of coming down this night. My
yeah,
mum wasn't. it just happened. He got hold of a lighter and
Yeah,
started the house fire,
yeah,
which ended up quickly ravaged through the place. I woke up, there was just flames everywhere.
yeah,
I thought it was an angel in a dream yelling out to me when I found out later on that was the neighbor coming in, going, "You need to wake up, get out of the house." I woke up, there was literally flames everywhere.
yeah.
I ran out of
It's
the
crazy,
house.
isn't it?
Yeah, it was just crazy. I ran through and kind of, for some reason, I got to flick the mains off just because that was a thing in my head at 15. I don't know
Yeah,
why I had
yeah,
this logical thought, just flick off the mains. But
yeah,
I kind of looked down, seen fire, and kind of ran out the door. And it's like, "Where's Jared?" That was my
yeah,
brother.
yeah,
Proceed. He wasn't there, so I ran back in to try and to save him, and it was just fire everywhere. I kind of looked down, and just where my mother's room was just flames.
yeah,
And then ran back in through to a room where I thought maybe he was, which was the front of the house, and I couldn't see him by then. There was just smoke everywhere. It was just
yeah,
you've been through fire. It's not. It's
yeah,
just so overwhelming. It just feels
yeah,
like forever, and it's just
yeah,
those moments. They they just feel like forever. And then I'm trying to get out of the house. I couldn't find my brother. And so I've got to the front of the house. I come through the back door, went to the front room of the house to try and find him in there because it was the only room I could go to get in.
yeah,
And then I'm trying to open the door, and because of the flames and the heat, the door had all swelled up, and I couldn't open the door, and it felt like forever. I've dropped down on the ground, and I'm like, "Nah, that's it. That's it. I'm done. This is it."
yeah,
I couldn't see. The smoke was overwhelming. I felt not okay, and so I've like, and something in me is like, try the door again. So I jumped up, and somehow the door clicked open. I don't know how, what, whether it was my brother or someone looking out for me and just saying, "You're not going today." And then I was
yeah,
out the door. And in that moment that I've come out the door in the room that I was at, it's like just the windows, you know how they kind of bubble out and then they
yeah,
pop in a fire. It was
yeah,
like that and just boom. And then it wasn't, the house was just engulfed from there. And Jared's dad come running in from the back shed as I've kind of got out. He ran through, and as he ran through, there was just a big fireball. And then within a minute or two, he'd come running out, and he was on fire, just
yeah,
whole body on fire, and he's running around, um, rolling on the ground, trying to get out. And that was the night of the fire. And then it was tough because you just feel your whole world come in on you then, and you're
yeah,
15, and everything going on around you was just, that was a really, really, really tough night. And
yeah,
it kind of, now I think about it, talking about it now, that resilience and opening the door and not giving up, it's kind of been a story for me all my life, that resilience and never giving up
yeah,
despite everything
yeah.
else I've been through.
That's crazy. Even when you're talking about it, I'm like, my body's just like just gyrating. I'm just like, especially when you talk about the flames everywhere. That I can't really remember much about when it happened to me, but I can remember just what it looks like to have flames like f front, back, floor, everything. And just it sounds stupid, but how hot it is. It's like
Yep.
this heat that's just like, ugh, it makes me shudder actually to think about it. But yeah, resilience, man. Like it's crazy that you say that because sometimes I think it is like a trait that either you have it or you don't. And even when it happened to me, like some people were like, I don't know how the hell you survived, man. And I'm like, I don't know either. But it's kind of when you were saying like just a similar thing, just like just keep fighting. I had something similar, like and I still to this day, I've talked about this many times, like my wife and family, like, was it God? Was it my brain? Was it just survival? Like my body knew it's about to go, so it's just putting whatever images in my brain just to react to move. I don't don't know, but and I guess we'll never know. We'll know at the end what that was.
I asked myself the same question because I'm like, I was asleep, I was dead asleep, and it
Yeah,
just felt like I woke up and I was told the neighbor ran in and saved me, but
Yeah.
in my dreams and my sleep, it wasn't a neighbor telling me to wake up. It was something else, a voice,
Yeah.
something going, wake up, you need to wake up now. And then,
Yeah.
like, my neighbor was an old Greek guy across the road, and bless his soul for running in because everyone else
Yeah.
had kind of left me as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, that was like me. The dude that saved me was actually this autistic kid across the road who just
wow.
he just had no fear. He just walked up to the door just kind of as I was running through it and just grabbed me out of there. And thank God for him, man. But all the other neighbors, they were just too scared. They're like, it's just too full on.
Well, it
Thankful for
takes a
that.
special kind of person to run into a fire. Like I think about it now,
Oh,
like I'm 45, like I was 15, I'd got out
yeah,
of the house fire and the whole house was on fire, and my thought was run back into this house at
yeah, yeah,
15. I don't
yeah,
know at what 15-year-olds, like all I knew was my 4-year-old brother was in the house. So I'm
yeah,
like immediately turn around and run back in, not even a second thought. And now I'm
yeah,
like 45. Like I don't know a lot of people that would turn around and run back into a house fire, let alone a 15-year-old. But I think
yeah,
I just had enough bravado and
yeah,
stupidity and big brother like to go, nah, that's not happening.
yeah,
But
yeah. I know now, me, if I saw a little fire, I'm running the other way.
yeah. Yeah, well,
As
it
fast as
still
I
brings
can.
back all sorts of trauma, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
oh
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
something you battle with as well. Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
see that on the TV all the time or something. I still shudder and have to look away and close my
yeah,
eyes at times. It's sometimes it's just confronting sometimes for me. It
yeah,
still brings back memories, and you don't even mean to, and it's not
yeah,
even like front of house memories. You just see it, and dude, I can't handle that right now. So you kind of close your eyes or you look away for a moment when it's on the TV.
yeah, yeah. For me, like, 'cause I kind of do kind of have PTSD from it. One was just sudden feelings of heat. Like if I was a if there was a bonfire or something, someone put something on quickly, and I felt that real quick rise of heat, I'd just like freak out, like my
Yep.
heart just like panic. I was telling my mates about that, and these Chris and Wayne, two legends, and they actually kind of like encouraged me to go take saunas. And I remember that first sauna, man, I was shitting myself. I was like, just when they put the water on that heat, and they're like looking at me like, and I was just like, oh God. But thankfully, I was able to just through practice just get used to it. I think that's kind of helped a bit, but it'll never ever leave. Like you know, especially like, do you dream about it and stuff, or
Yeah, it's got better. I've managed to disassociate a lot. It's not great in my
yeah, yeah,
life, but with PTSD, I've studied it and looked into it a lot more. People with trauma and PTSD tend to disassociate from a lot of
yeah,
things in their life, and
yeah,
good, bad, or negative. But sometimes people with that tend to use that to kind of deal with how they're going through a lot of
yeah,
things. That's why I think a lot of the music, I was able
yeah,
to focus a lot on that, and that kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
brought me away from the things I was going through. Listen to the artists as a kid, like after my brother died, I'd be listening to the bands I love, the
yeah,
Slayers, the Machine Heads, all these bands, and they'd
yeah,
take you to another place, and they're like, oh, the songs are being sung to me. I'm feeling exactly what they're feeling. They're feeling what I'm
yeah, yeah,
feeling. So that was kind of a huge
yeah.
therapy for me then.
So you were already into like metal and stuff back then?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dude. That was my everything, especially
yeah,
after my
yeah,
brother died. That was the
yeah,
world. You lock yourself away in a dark room and just
yeah,
music all the time.
yeah. Man, that must, man. Rest in peace, man, to your brother.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine how that would have felt at 15.
It was absolute hell. Like, not only are you going through like the common stuff of being a 15-year-old, I just like watched my brother like
Yeah,
basically burned alive in a house fire in front of
yeah,
me, and it was like trying to go back to school, and like everyone had taken off to Adelaide. 'Cause, my little brother's dad, he wasn't a good person. We could talk about that more as well. But like
yeah,
they all took off to Adelaide. He was in hospital for a while, so everyone took off to Adelaide, and I was there alone at 15. Just buried my brother. put it me the we'd been given a house because we'd lost our house, so it was
Yeah,
Red Cross was one of those places that set us up in a house in Loxton,
yeah,
but they kind of all just left me there and took off to Adelaide for months, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember a friend come over with his uncle, and I was just a wreck. I think I was crying for 3 4 days alone, 15, and they ended up picking me up and going, "You can come stay with us." I went and stayed with them for a few months as well
yeah,
because it was just so tough to deal with. And then after getting through that, like they're like, "Oh yeah, let's can." They all like my little brother's dad like got out of hospital, and the first thing they'd done after losing my brother was like, let's set up a speed lab. So here I am at 16, nearly 17. They're giving me speed at the time. So I was
yeah,
like 17, like addicted to speed. Like I
yeah,
had massive, massive trauma. My brain is still growing, and this
yeah,
person that was like, now I look at it, that he was grooming me, and he was
yeah,
definitely grooming my little sister at the time, and
yeah,
drugs was the thing, and he was able to kind of give it to my mum because she was like lost, she just lost her son, and
yeah,
it was kind of he ended up being it was an evil, evil person that just brought shit into our life as well. So it was
yeah,
was sad. So not only was I trying to deal with like the loss of my brother and all that. I was the people that I should have trusted and that should have been there for me were letting me down,
yeah,
totally let me down. So, my brain was still growing, my brain was
yeah,
still developing. I was dealing with this massive trauma, and then put that on top, they're just giving me bags of speed, and then they're all dealing drugs, and then people are shooting up, and then drugs are being sold, and then I'm like, this is like within 6 months after my brother had died. So I'd gone from that to absolute just even more hell trying to deal with. And I look at it now, it's just like, what kind of environment was that? I'm a kid, 17, sitting there in speed labs, like being in a car while people are going doing drug deals back and forth from Adelaide. Like it was
yeah,
a horrible environment. And then you look at as a kid like that, I see it now, it's indoctrination. You're just groomed. You're sitting around these older people, they're saying all this violent shit like, oh yeah, this is the way you do it. And all. So you're a young boy looking up to these people thinking, oh yeah, this is fucking great and bees knees, I'm a part of something, but they're really just using and abusing you and grooming you to their needs. And it took a while for me to kind of see that. It wasn't until obviously when the police come in and shut everything down, as they always fucking do,
yeah,
that you kind of start opening your eyes again. So by the time I was 20, I was overcoming a drug habit. Like,
yeah,
thankfully I never went into the needles. It was always just eating it, but it was
yeah,
still a fucking drug habit from a young age to 20. And
yeah,
those 3 4 years are when you're growing as a man, as a person, understanding things, reasoning, processes, and
yeah,
trying to, you know, find yourself in this world, not to mention chucking drugs in. It was a rough, rough, rough time for me, and it took me a long time to get my feet back after that.
yeah, man. I can't imagine how that would have been in Loxton as well, like a small town, like everyone knows everything.
Oh,
Um,
dude, everyone knew me for that. And it was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
dude, there were guys that I was going to school with that go and buy drugs out there as well. It was
yeah,
like,
yeah, man. Hectic, hectic, man, crazy. And again, like, not on the same level at all. Um, but I remember being, around that age as well, like, just like people like that, you're totally right. Like, you think they're your friend or they seem cool or whatever at the start, but sometimes I think, were they trying to like say like in the drug world and stuff, like these people, the cooks and the dealers and whatnot, um, are they trying to indoctrinate you, or is it just, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, like, or is it just they're kind of lonely, so they're wanting you to,
yeah,
that's kind of how they're like blooding you into their world, because if they give you drugs, then you need them.
yep.
Um, yeah, I'd like to think today, like 2025, just with all the information and stuff. I know that there's still these people around though. And yeah,
Well, you see it worse now with people with struggling with drug problems and drug addiction. It seems to be taking a hold a lot more in
Yeah,
society, and it's
yeah,
getting harder and harder for people to kind of break out of that. But
yeah,
trust me, once you break out of that circle and break out of that world and fucking see there's so much more than being stuck in those fucking drug circles these days, all these kids, it's like, I really hope the people that are stuck in that meth world or the other world, the drug world that they're really stuck in, that they do see the beauty this world has to offer if they
yeah,
can kind of push themselves out of that, seek some help, get some support, because you aren't alone. As hard as it is and as low as you can get, you can always get out and you can always kind of, push yourself out a little bit more. There's always some sort of services or there's somewhere, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how hard it gets. Because, some people have been through some tough shit and I don't know if you can, we do have it in us. You just got to find that light and that
yeah.
spark in you, you're supposed to want to push out of that. So,
And yeah, if I mean, if you're watching this and you have friends or whatever that are going through it, just say something to them because
it's a,
like not many people do, but if you do say something, you'd be surprised. I mean, for me, it was actually I don't even know if you probably want me to say this, but Northy from Truth Created. Like, 'cause I was having big issues back in the days with like smoking gear and pills and whatnot. And
yep.
one time, I'd actually told him I've never actually told this story on the record, but he was like, "If you take another pill, I'll just slap you across the face." And I was like, "All right, do it." And then this one gig, I was kind of like lying, saying I stopped doing it at the time. I was in that kind of mode and just did it anyway. He saw me and he just came up to me, just full to slap me straight across the chops. I'm like, bro.
Uh,
Little did he know though that kind of slap kind of rung for a while. Like I was like, man, I can't believe I made that dude do that. Like, but also what a legend, like to actually do that, you know?
it come from a place of love as well. I
Yeah,
had this conversation recently about being able to be there for your friends, also being firm, but doing it from a place of love. Like when
yeah,
someone really cares about you and can come in and do something like that,
yeah,
slap you
yeah,
or verbally slap you as a friend, and then do it from a place of love. It
yeah,
really means a fucking lot more than someone doing it from a position where I sit higher than you. That comes across.
yeah,
I can't handle that kind of
yeah,
stuff. But
yeah,
whereas a friend who's doing it from a place of love
yeah,
and they care about you, you go, fuck, okay, and I get that.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
rough, but I actually totally get it. And you love them even more for being able to be firm with
yeah,
you as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, if you're watching this, Northy, cheers for that, bro. Might have saved my life. In not, but it didn't happen straight away though. It actually took me ages of thinking and whatnot to finally like come to a place of realizing that this shit was just ruining my life, really. I mean, and to anyone watching this, that shit just will ruin your life. Don't think it will. It won't. It will. It's the only way it ends. You
Oh
either get
yeah,
out or it gets you.
yep. I
So
feel good because I can like look at people like that still lost in that, and I'm like,
yeah,
wow, dude, it's you're just totally gone now, and I kind of feel sad for them. I just wish they
yeah,
kind of had that spark or that something that
yeah,
made them want to get out of that.
yeah, yeah. Well, usually it's well for me it was rock bottom.
Yep.
Rock bottom was the best place for me because once I'd hit that, I was like, shit, all right. Kind of looking at my age and like I've got this many years to kind of fix it. If I don't do something now, I've wasted life kind of thing. So, but anyway, back to the story of Jai. So 20 years old, you're still in Loxton?
Yeah, still in Loxton.
Yeah,
So Mike kind of wandered around a bit. I was kind of got into block work as everybody does around there.
yeah, yeah,
Picking oranges,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
grapes. Heading to
yeah,
Adelaide every now and then for some gigs. Usually,
yeah,
like the big day outs were like a thing you do every
yeah,
fucking year. You
yeah,
make the
yeah,
jaunt to Adelaide and do the
yeah,
big day out and stuff. And then kind of floated along for a couple of years, and then I lost another brother. He was only pretty young. Died of whooping cough. He was too young to be immunised,
oh,
so I
gee.
kind of had to go to Adelaide for a little bit.
Yeah.
My sister had been born by then. So what really, because let's flash back to around 20. I think my sister, um, she would have been born around then. So
Yeah.
I'd come back from Adelaide and my mum was I love my mum, but she's my mum and she's a little up and down at times. So I'm
Yeah.
like I needed to be there for my sister. So I came back from Adelaide. I
Yeah.
probably would have been 18, 19, 20. I was just starting to kind of get my shit together around 19, 20, and around 20
Yeah.
is when I started getting offered. So come back down and I just seen her and I'm like, fuck man. She was kind of the main probably inspiration for me to start getting my shit together, actually, my little
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, I just knew she had needed me. I knew I had to be there. I knew I had to be that reliable,
Yeah.
stable figure for her because you know I love my mum, bless her soul. We all love our mum, but she wasn't that stable figure for me, and I just
Yeah.
wanted to be that for my sister as well. And then my other sister was ready to travel. She wanted to travel and do hospitality, so I come back
Yeah.
and I'm like, look, I just want to be here for her.
Yeah.
So yeah, she kind of got my shit together around 20, mucked around, done a lot of block work, and then my other brother, who was about 22, he died of the whooping cough, as I was mentioning just before. He
Yeah.
was too young to be immunised. He was premature. We brought him back here after a couple of months in Adelaide. He was still a little too young to be immunised. Took him into the doctors. Ended up getting whooping cough off an unvaxxed kid at the
Yeah.
doctor's surgery and then died of whooping cough. It was all over the news. I think he was one of two kids that died that year of whooping cough and
Yeah.
kind of sparked a push around that time for kids to be bloody immunized and all that kind of stuff at the time. It was all over the news about parents not immunizing their kids for kindy and
Yeah.
he they used him as kind of a little bit of a push to kind of to get the vaccinations rolling and reminding people that it is important to have your kids
Yeah.
vaccinated for that kind of stuff at least.
Wow. That must have been rough too. How,
That was rough. I was pretty I'm like I watched him go because I'm like oh he's gonna make it through. I was just kind of being positive, but doctor come up and said, look, he's gonna go. It's just important. We think your mum gets the last hold, so they grabbed him out of the incubator, put him in mum's arms, and gone and just watched him take his last couple of breaths in mum's arms, and that was it.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, that one was pretty rough as well, but it's
Right.
you
You
know,
got through it, man.
and that kind of stuff like that reinstills like, what are you going to do? Like, am I going to give up and go, okay, then that's it, I've lost this, or am I going to go and use that spark to push forward and go? I was always once I reached a point in my mind that I wasn't going to use my brother's memory as a reason to cop out in life. If anything, I
Yeah.
was going to use that as a memory to try and do better. And
Yeah.
I don't know what anyone believes. I don't, whatever. Didn't want to get to wherever we're going, or afterlife, whatever. Bumping my brother, and he's like, "Hey, how was life like?" It's like, "Oh, well, I just kind of sat back and wasted away because I was too sad of you." He would fucking
Yeah.
slap me. I would fucking
Yeah.
slap me if I would have wasted my life for both my brothers and go, "Oh, that's it, I'm done," because
Yeah.
you're not done. They couldn't live their life, so all I can do is try and live my life to the best of my ability in their honor as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Respect to that, bro. Respect to that. So then, man, um, straight away,
I'm
I'm just
24.
thinking you're carrying a lot of situations in your cells.
Yeah.
Man, crazy. So when talk about the cancer, when did you find out about that? Were you like sick or how did you?
Yeah, well, March 2023, I found out about the cancer
Yeah.
as well. So I was unwell for about a year before, really, really unwell.
Yeah.
It was progressively getting worse. I was tired for a couple of years before, and I just thought, oh, I'm worn out.
Yeah.
I'm busy. I just thought I was tired. I've struggled with sleep properly all these years because of waking up in a fire, and then I
Yeah.
struggle to
Yeah.
have a solid sleep.
Yeah.
So I just thought, oh, I'm just tired. I'm worn out. I was working bar work again, doing hospitality again as well. So I'm like, oh, I'm just worn out and tired. Then it just started getting progressively worse. I think signs where I'd have a drink. So I never really drank much in my life. It was
Yeah.
never something I really did, but I didn't mind to have a drink or two. So I went out and I'd go to a gig with my partner at the time and I'd have two, three, maybe four drinks tops. And then the next day I would be horribly ill. It started getting like that.
Yeah.
And then these are signs, people, you need to watch out for as well. And then frequency, I started going to the toilet a lot, like as well. And then it just started passing blood. And then it just got to then there was a lot of blood. It was a lot of blood. And I kept going back in and misdiagnosing it. It's dysentery. It's this, it's that. Oh, you got cysts on your liver, which happened to be two cancers. But it wasn't, it was lucky that I went in there on a day that I did. I dropped my daughter off at school and I was in horrible pain. I was bawling in that much pain.
Yeah.
Um, big, and then I went in there and I'd seen my niece's doctor. My niece passed of a brain tumor about 5 years ago. Rest in peace, Elizabeth. I went in and seen him. It was lucky that he was there. He wasn't my GP, and he said, "Jai, this isn't normal." And he knew the family. He's a really, really good doctor. Really good doctor. He saved my life. He's like, this isn't normal. He put me in for an urgent CT scan right then and there. I had to go
Yeah.
straight to fucking Barry and get a CT scan. So they put the dye in and it lights any cancers.
Yeah.
And then within an hour, they were bringing me up. This was March 2023. Rang me up and they said, you need to come down to the doctors now and you
Yeah.
need to bring someone who can support you and be there for you. So you know when you get a call like that, it's not. I knew straight away it was cancer. I knew it wasn't. Oh, hey, you've got a cold, or yeah, I knew straight away that it was cancer. So
What goes
I,
through your mind in that call? Like, can you? I'm guessing
oh,
it's like shit
just
gets
as
busy and
your
yeah.
world crashes around you. It's just like again going through the fire. You understand? It's like time slows down. It's
Yeah.
like everything is coming in a million miles an hour, and then time has just slowed right down. It's almost like
Yeah.
one of those Matrix movies where they're swinging and all this stuff's flowing at you, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, because all your thoughts are rushing in your mind. So even then, at that point, they can't tell you what grade is. You go in there and they sit down, they go, you got cancer. So at that point, when you first go in for the when they told me, I grabbed my sister, and it was sad because she just lost her daughter of a brain tumor. Tessa was the baby sister I come back for back when I
Yeah.
was younger. So I took her to the doctors with me. She's 28, but me and her have always been close. So I took her with me, and then she just, gone through what she'd gone through with her daughter, and then she's sitting there as well, listening to her brother's just got cancer, and they've told you, and they pretty well sit you down and go, "You've got cancer," and that's it, and they've obviously set you up for scans and appointments, so everything happened really quick. But when they told me, my world crashed around me. I didn't know. I cried. I thought of my kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to die. I it's just I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. I want to live. I'll do anything to
Yeah.
survive. So they tell you you've got cancer and kind of send you home, and that's when immediately they set you straight away up. You're in the system from that fucking point on. That was the last time I've actually had a GP's appointment. So from that moment on, it's like a whirlwind of stuff that's happening. So from there, they send you down to Adelaide. Immediately within a week, I was down to Adelaide. I was having PET scans, full body PET scans. I had a colonoscopy, biopsy, obviously. So they found everything. They were able to grade the cancer. So within a week, they'd had me in there for the scans. Within a couple of days after said scans, colonoscopy, a whole bunch of tests and bloods, they had me in with my oncologist. They were setting up chemotherapy within 2 weeks. I think 3 weeks I was in chemo. I had to go back after the scans. They said, you've got stage 4 bowel cancer. The bowel cancer is the primary. It had spread up into your liver. And I had two cancers in my liver. So from that point, you stage 4 cancer. Not many, you hear that and you just go, um, you know what I mean? Like they weren't giving me a great deal of hope. And my partner at the time, bless her soul, like she was like, you're gonna make it. Don't you fucking wouldn't let me entertain those thoughts.
Yeah.
But stage 4 cancers, like this, your feet hit the ground. And I was just like to my oncologist, I want to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So within 2, 3 weeks, I was in the chemo. So they had me straight into chemo. It was 4 months of chemo, 2 weeks on, 1 week off, which was insanely tough. But I didn't want to die. I just said, look, I want to do whatever it fucking takes. So that's the thing. Once you're in the system with the cancer, they have you the PET scans. You're in with so I had colorectal specialist, which is your bowels. I had hepatobiliary, which is your liver area as well, and then I had the oncologist who oversees all the plan. They sit down in Adelaide with your case and all the specialists, and they talk about what they do,
Yeah.
which is yeah. So from stage 4, they were like, boom, chemo. That was 2 weeks on, 1 week off. You go to the Berry Hospital here. Thankfully, we now have a chemo wing in Berry.
Hmm.
You go over there and they'd hook you up on the chemo pump, and they'd just pump you full of chemo for 3, 4 hours and
Yeah.
then send you out with a bunch of chemo pills, and you'd have to take, I don't think it was 10 chemo pills every day I was taking, but they'd pump your body up with that much chemo. It was just absolutely horrible. It was the worst thing in the fucking world. Like, but it, yeah, it was kept me going. It made me so fucking sick. But all through that time, dude, I was still chatting to bands, dude. I like interviewing Drowning Pool, CJ from Drowning Pool, right in the middle of fucking chemo. And I'm like throwing up in a bucket just before the interview. Like, I was horribly, horribly fucking sick from the
Yeah.
chemo. Like, and then I'm like, sit up. I do this interview with CJ from Drowning Pool, then proceed to be back over the bucket vomiting. So when I was well enough in between chemo, I was still fucking interviewing bands and trying to lift people up and
Yeah.
support the scene and do my bit. And as tough as it was, I actually think it helped me distract from what I was going on at that time, because 4 months of chemo was fucking absolute hell. They hammer your body for 2 weeks, and then you get a week off and you go back again. And I take my hat off to anyone who's been through it and anyone who's gone through cancer, mate. My heart just fucking goes out to them because I've gone through it and I know how hard it is to go through it. You don't even think about it, you just do it like
Yeah.
every fucking day. And like I got through that chemo and like I couldn't use my bowels properly. So my cancer in my bowels was that fucking big. I couldn't use my bowels properly. So I couldn't open up my bowels properly. So it got to a point they had to stop the chemo, rush me to Adelaide for emergency surgery because the chemo was working for my bowels, but my two
Yeah.
livers on my cancer were growing really, really fucking quick. So, and I couldn't use my bowels anymore. So I was in and out of hospital all the time. So they'd rush me to Adelaide just on the end of the 4 months to have major liver resection, major liver surgery. So I had to have a liver resection, cut nearly 30% of the liver out, two cancers out of the liver, and then put a colostomy in. So that was at the 4 month mark. So because
Yeah.
I couldn't use my bowels anymore. So it was just, and then you're pumping your body full of this poison because that's what chemo is. Like
Yeah.
if you're around the chemo, you got to have gloves on. You people around you got to wipe the toilets because it gives you cancer essentially. Chemo does, but it also fights cancer. So
Yeah.
it's a double-edged blade. You want to live, but you're taking a drug that can give you cancer as well. So
Yeah.
so you got to be really careful around that as well. So I was like taking all this chemo, couldn't use my bowels properly. So, and then the liver cancers were growing. So it was like, and then at one point they're just about to do the surgery. They're like, oh, it looks like it could be on your lymph nodes. So they're like, we can't do anything for you. So then I'm sitting there for 2 weeks in between this point going, that's it. And they're like, they end up putting me in for another scan and they're like, oh, no, it looks like it's just a shadow. We're still going to go ahead with the surgery. So they done nearly 8 hour surgery for the liver resection and put the colostomy in. So I went in there and they put an epidural in. So I had an epidural in my spine for four days after that surgery. So I couldn't
Jesus Christ.
walk from here down. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and that was just the first surgery. So after that, like liver resection, they sent me home for 2 weeks. I probably had 2 weeks, maybe three weeks if you count the week I was in hospital. I spent a week in hospital after that surgery. And then after that surgery, I woke up, like as I said, with the liver resection. So I was cut from here to there. I can send you a photo as well. It was crazy. And then I had the ostomy put in. So I woke up like you wake up, you can use your bowels normally. Then you wake up with your intestine half like hanging out your belly like this much. And this is your new normal. Then the ostomy nurse comes in the next day and is like, well, you're going in because you're already talking to the stomal nurses that this is going to be your new normal. So I had the liver surgery, had the ostomy put in. So not only was I dealing with the liver, the cancer, I'm like, now I'm an ostomate. I've got to learn how to to use a bag and how to change this every day and come to terms with that. So
Yeah.
first day they come in, they're like, "Oh, this is how you change a bag and this is what you do." So you because you're so fucking sore, you can't do it the first day.
Yeah.
Second day she's in, I'm changing it, dude. She's like, most people can't kind of handle it and look at it some for a little bit. And I'm like, this is my new normal. I just have to get used to it, and this is how I'm doing things. So they had the ostomy put in. I'm like, learn how to do that with the liver. Went home for 2 weeks after that, and then straight back to Adelaide. Stayed at Green Hill Lodge for 6 weeks. Had to go start radiotherapy for 6 weeks. So every morning I'd get up. I'd have to take Monday to Friday, take a handful of chemo pills. So I was
Yeah.
doing combined chemo with radio. Take a handful of chemo pills. Go to the Royal Adelaide. Jump in for my five minute microwave session with the radiotherapy. They put tattoo dots on you so they can line you up. Your first radiotherapy session, they go in and they put tattoo dots on you where they're gonna blast you with the radiation. So you go in for about 5 minutes every day. You got to drink the amount of water, but you go in 5 minutes every day. They blast you with radiation. You go back to the cancer lodge, you take some more chemo pills in the afternoon, get some sleep, go back and do it again. Done that for 6 weeks. And they blast the absolute hell out of you with radiation that you got that much radiation pumping in your body. They send you home for 3 months to kind of, because the radiation will keep working for up to three
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
So they sent me home for 3 months to kind of let it do its thing, and then they brought me back to Adelaide, December 2023. This is still 2023 was a big bloody year, and I had a bowel resection, and they turned my colostomy into an ileostomy. So it was another 8.5 hour surgery. This one. Took out part of my bowel, part of my rectum. The colostomy is attached to your large intestine. The ileostomy is attached to your small intestine. So they stitched up my large intestine, put it back in, grabbed my small intestine, half cut it, put it through my belly, stitched intestine to the wall of my belly, and that's your ileostomy. So it's a different output and a whole new beast, the ileostomy. But yeah, had the bowel resection, then the colostomy was turned to an ileostomy. December 2023. And then January, the results came back. I'd hit remission after all of that. So yeah, they put you through all of that. I know, dude. It was a hell of a year, man. It was
Bro,
a hell of a year, dude.
that is insane.
Yeah, man.
I don't even know what to say. That is insane. That is insane.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy time. And all through it all, I didn't think you don't process like it's like trauma, like things when you're going through at the moment, you don't process it when you're in the heat of that battle, when you're going
Yeah.
through that. It's not till you've got through that, till the end of that, that you're like, what the fuck just happened? Did I just go through that? You know what I mean? Like, it's,
So do you like just a couple of so many questions here.
yeah.
First of all, when they tell you that you got cancer and stuff, what's that first night like going to bed? Are you like Googling shit? Obviously, everything you Google is going to be just mental
Yeah, it's
and
not
not
good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. I
And how do
I
you sleep
cried.
and wake up the next day like it's still there?
Yeah,
I'd be thinking myself it'd be like a bad dream, and then you're like, this is real. Oh wow.
it is
Uh,
almost like that. It is almost like that. This is a bad dream. Like
yeah,
is this happening? You know, everything is rushing through your head at that point. And you're
yeah,
crying. You're like, I don't want to die. Like
yeah, yeah,
that's all you
yeah,
and you're thinking about your kids. Like I've got
yeah,
three daughters, and I'm
yeah,
thinking, man, I don't want them to have to bury their dad. I don't.
yeah,
It's just so much, and you're like, I don't want to die. That's all.
yeah,
I don't want my kids to have to watch me die. Even then, the me not dying is my kids. I the big
yeah,
part of that is I don't want my kids. And
yeah,
like things were just starting to settle down for me. I'm like, oh, okay, then life's starting to fall into place. I'm going well with all the music web scene. I met someone knew at that point life was going well. Then it was my whole world crashed again.
Do
And
they ever do they tell you like how they think you would have got it, or it just happens like
well,
just one cell just decides to
Well,
do the
I'm
dance?
a lot of people are gonna hate me, but bacon and processed meats are a huge fucking carcinogen.
Yeah.
There are huge studies linked to colorectal cancer and bacon and processed meats, and I was a
You ate a lot of
sucker.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was a sucker for bacon,
Yeah.
processed meats, all that stuff.
Oh,
I
that
don't,
stuff's
I'm
good.
not saying that's necessarily 100% linked to the cause, but
Yeah.
it is. And they have all
Yeah.
these warning labels and, oh, you shouldn't smoke and you shouldn't drink and it
Yeah.
causes cancer. And then, you talk to people about processed meat, some people and bacon and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's a carcinogen. It's a level one carcinogen. There's actually been studies showing that link this
Yeah.
to the night to colorectal cancer, all the nitrates they put into it, the preservatives they pump into
Yeah.
some of these foods. People need to be more aware, and the rates of cancer are skyrocketing all the bloody time, especially in areas like where I am in the Riverland, and I know up around the Port Perry area, and
Yeah.
that the cancer rates are like higher than a lot of places in South Australia.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to ask you about the chemo, but let's just keep on this while we're here. So, um, bacon, I swear to God, after hearing this story, I'm never going to eat that in my whole life at all. I
Yeah, dude.
promise you that, bro. I never will. Processed meat, no, no, no way. After
Yeah,
hearing that, there is no way. There is no way in
yeah,
hell I will put that.
yeah. Well,
So,
they've processed meat as group one carcinogen. I was looking up some studies for it the other day. That means
yeah,
there's sufficient evidence that it can cause cancer, particularly colorectal cancer. The nitrates they put in it, which is the preservatives used to maintain the
yeah.
color, can form N nitroso compounds, which are known as carcinogens as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And just hearing how, like, hearing you talk, it sounds like you're very well educated and versed in like the carcinogens and the courses, but also the procedures. Like you're just rattling off the terms of like the this and the that, like it's completely normal in your life. So that makes me thinking you're like researching everything as it's happening.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
oh yeah, yeah, most definitely, dude. You do
yeah.
look into it as well. The all that kind of stuff. You can't help it. I always
Do
want
they
to
do they
know
give you
more and learn more.
like apart from like the brutal kind of facts from the doctors and stuff, do you get like counseling and
Yeah, I
support
did.
groups and stuff like that, how to deal with all this stuff?
Yeah, I did do that, and thankfully, like with when you're in with something like you get cancer, it's like not thankfully, but
Yeah.
well, as hard as it is going through that, the system was amazingly supportive. Once I got in
Yeah.
there, I had my oncologist was amazing. All the team involved, I can't, they saved my fucking life.
Yeah.
They had a psychologist with me, through 2023. I
Yeah.
was seeing a psychologist to try and process and. You think you're going to die. It's, oh, let's have a psychologist to try and process the fact that you may die, which is a tough thing. And then that was pretty tough. They did have the support though for me. The Cancer Council were unreal. They were really good. I stayed at Green Hill Lodge. They
Yeah,
are
'cause
amazing.
I've often drove past there and I see like
Yeah.
people there. And I often wondered what goes in there, like what's going on in there, because there's people like on the balconies chilling and stuff. And so now I know. That's crazy. And you were there.
Yeah, yeah, they have it set up really because they have it's purely for people that don't live in Adelaide that are doing cancer treatment.
Yeah.
So it's got a kitchen on each floor. It's got all sorts of amenities as well, and the rooms are done up really
Yeah.
nicely. So you don't really have that much. They got support there, so you got
And is
all
there
types
other,
of support there as
are
well.
you there
Cars
with
that'll
like other
take you.
people going through the same kind of
Yep,
stuff and you're talking and
yep.
you're,
That meant a
lifting each
lot.
other up and stuff?
That meant a lot because everyone's kind of there alone. Like we're all
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
you have your support base, but other than that, you're there alone. You're away from your family. You're away
yeah,
from most of your support network. So being at the Cancer Lodge, kind of do rely on each other, and you meet people off of your floor. I met some really nice people there, and I was able to have some support, and then offered support to other people that have just been diagnosed, and I was able to share what I was going through and where I was at in my battle as well. And I've done that a couple of times. I was spoken to one lady who had just been diagnosed, and I was telling her about my battle and offering her support as well, and
yeah,
just what I'd been through. My story, and she was uplifted after hearing my story and just
yeah.
didn't feel so alone just to hear that as well, which is, a big part of the healing too.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about getting into like support work yourself for that kind of stuff?
They hit me up as well. The Cancer
Yeah.
Lodge actually
Yeah.
hit me up and said I should do that with through the Cancer Connect and offer support to the people going through that because
Yeah.
it's tough. I was speaking to someone about it who the Cancer Council had set up a support thing where I could chat to someone else who had gone through what I'd gone through because I was having a really tough time trying to deal with it all and kind of come to terms with it all post the cancer battle because you come out of that and everyone's like, oh, you should just be so positive and happy and it's like it's and yes, you're happy you're alive, but you just gone through hell and like
Yeah.
absolute bloody hell. So it's kind of you're juggling a double-edged blade back again too. Like, yeah, you're happy you're alive, but it's also a fucking lot to process. And then other to kind of get your head around it. And it's hard for other people to understand that because you do talk.
Sorry, I just lost you at
No, you're not trauma dumping or unloading. So it's
yeah,
just the world you live in now.
yeah, yeah. Oh man. It's so when you say 2023, I just shudder. I'm like, man, that was just not long ago.
Yeah,
Crazy, crazy.
yeah, and
Because like my wife and I, we had my sister-in-law. She passed away from like a rare ovarian cancer in 2022 in Fiji. Um, and that was like real quick. Like it's like the net's frozen here. Can you hear or I've lost your audio?
I'm here. I'm
Oh,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it shit like yeah. I was just saying about my sister-in-law who ovarian cancer just boom took her like that. And man, it just when you're telling the story about the cancer council and the hospitals and this and that really makes me feel blessed to be in Australia, man. Because over in Fiji, they had nothing. She had a Panadol if she was
Yeah.
lucky, and just lie on the floor and just cancer, man. The other thing I wanted to ask you was about chemo. Um, you're saying it's like poison. I think everybody kind of has a vague idea that it's poison. My idea of chemo, it's something I've never really looked into. It's they pump it into you. You might lose your hair, makes you feel really sick, and but it does something to you and it gets rid of it. Um, how did that? Could you feel it going into you? Like, did you
Oh
feel
yeah.
the sickness?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah, most definitely,
yeah,
instantly. So one of the first things was I'd come out of that, I'd have pins and needles everywhere.
oh,
Um,
yeah,
I couldn't touch anything without pins and needles. Eating food, I couldn't drink cold water, even like out the tap. It had to be kind of warm-ish
yeah.
because every time I drink, it was like pins and needles. Like drinking a mouthful of pins and needles.
Wow.
Uh, touching things was pins and needles. Eating was horrible. Eating was horrible. It was like every time I would eat, like at least the first few mouthfuls were always like it was like the mouth or the senses was all like again that pins and needles feeling for me. Like it was just like eating. It was so horrible. It was like painful almost the
Yeah,
first few bites of food. I was sick all the time, and then I couldn't open my bowels properly. So I'm having the chemo, and then you got to
yeah,
purge your body, but I couldn't purge my body properly as well. So I
oh, yeah,
found myself in hospital a lot. Appetite wasn't the best. Appetite was not good as well. Lucky I didn't lose my hair.
yeah,
Not everyone loses their hair with
yeah,
chemo, which is a
yeah,
bone. I don't know. You always feel, oh, it's a bonus. It's like, oh, fuck, I'm dealing with cancer. How's that a
yeah,
bonus? Like,
yeah,
fuck it. But, yeah, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, it did do a lot of things. The chemo was absolutely horrible. I knew I was taking it. The thing is with the chemo, it attacks the cancer, but it also gives you cancer. So you've got to, if you're around other people, you've got to have it's got to be bagged. They give you a purple waste bag. That's everything's got to go in. You got to take that back to the hospital to be burnt because it's toxic waste. Other people can't touch that. You got to clean a toilet after you use that because these drugs are so toxic they can give other people cancer. And this is the shit you're piling into your body. You
Wow.
know, it's like you almost like fighting one poison with another poison. You're like fucking, and that's when hence the remission. Like everyone's like, oh, you're in remission. It's great. Happy fucking days. It's like the cancer's in remission. I'm not considered cancer free. Like 5 years of fucking, like 5 years, no fucking flare ups of any more cancer and shit. So as it is, like you got to fucking go. And I'm in blood tests every 3 months, some scans every 4 to 5 months. I got to have colonoscopies all the fucking time. So it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
yeah, the cancer's in remission at this point. So, but that's another thing. Like you got to be fucking aware that even though the cancer's in remission you again, Dr. fucking Google, you Google this shit and you go, oh, fuck, okay, odds of this coming back are fucking aren't great for me, but you
Yeah,
just got to not think like that. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So going pre-cancer, so you said you were eating bacon, and to me it just sounds like normal kind of
Yeah.
just normal living for most people. Like you eat your bacon, eat your this and that, have your ciggies, do you smoke ciggies?
No, I don't even smoke ciggies, dude.
No? You drunk a
No.
little bit?
No, I never really drank much. I never really drank much over my life. Every now and then when I was like in hospitality, so from around 26 for quite a few years, I got into bar work.
Yeah,
And to begin with, you're like, oh yeah, you fucking start, you're drinking a bit after not like knockups, but the novelty wears off pretty quick. And
yeah,
I watched my grandfather die. He was an alcoholic, and his
yeah,
brother was an alcoholic, and we come from a long line of alcoholics. And watch my
yeah,
mum like struggle with addiction and alcohol problems. For me, it was like really important not to it was really important to break the cycle. So I'd never
yeah,
really wanted to get stuck in a routine of fucking drinking. So even like drinking, I never drank much. It was like once every couple of weeks, maybe, and not much, you
yeah.
know?
So it must have been an awesome day when they say, "Hey, you're in
Oh,
remission."
I was crying. I was
Yeah,
crying with he rang me and he's like, he was just as happy. Like to
yeah,
be an oncologist, you've been with this patient all the way through. You think they're gonna die, they make it through. He was just as
yeah,
happy. He's going how proud he is of me. I'm like
yeah,
crying. I'm like, thank you. Like, I'm like, I love you and that. I'm telling this
yeah.
man, I love him, dude. Like, he's there with his kids. He's like, it saved my life. It was,
Yeah,
him and the whole medical team at the Royal Adelaide, around at the colorectal team, the hepatobiliary, my oncologist, all of them had a part in saving my life. So when I got that call, I was like, it's better than winning the lottery. It's like the
yeah,
lottery is your fucking life. You don't realize how all that shit before, all the problems you used to let drive you insane, all the little things you used to let you piss you off, or all the fucking things that happen. When you get told you get to live, it's like, oh my fucking God, that all kind of, I don't know why I got so upset over all of that. And
yeah,
like,
yeah,
just being alive is a joy in its own.
yeah, yeah. Wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. And how do you so these days, I'm guessing you live a pretty uh, proactive to keep this away. Is that right to assume? Like you,
Yeah.
so what's your diet look like these days?
Definitely changed my diet. Because of the bow stuff. I've got I just meat, a lot of chicken. I don't eat much red meat. I
Yeah,
try and avoid red meat as much as possible. It's a lot of chicken,
yeah,
veg. I'm definitely eating a lot more vegetables and stuff than I
yeah,
used to pre-cancer stuff.
yeah,
Like I wasn't the best before. I didn't have the healthiest diet, so
yeah,
now I'm proactively trying to eat a lot better, a lot more veg,
yeah,
chicken, fish,
yeah,
that kind of stuff, and
yeah,
avoiding red meat. I still might eat red meat once every couple of weeks. Definitely no processed meats. I don't drink any alcohol at all.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and all that as well. It's like mindset is a big part of it as well.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's huge besides the diet.
yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 for sure. And fasting as well. You do a bit of
Mm.
fasting here and there?
Yeah, yeah, dude. I
Yeah.
have been doing that, and I've been going. I try and go a couple of days where just to kind of let the body go, and I find that I get a lot more spurts of energy as
Oh
well
yeah,
after
yeah, yeah,
doing it,
yeah,
and you're a lot clearer. But it's also good for me to go through those couple of days and kind of because my bowels, they're still kind of getting back into track as well. So I find fasting a little bit kind of helps me as well. Like if I
yeah,
eat too much and kind of fill up my bowels, kind of aren't the greatest coming through.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That'd be a good way just to give it all a break and let it
Yes.
figure itself out. Yeah,
Oh, most definitely. And I feel pretty good when I do it as well. Like I
yeah,
feel really good by the
yeah,
third day. I'm like, yeah, cool. And then up next day, I'm ready to roll again.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. And then um, like spiritually, I guess you've like, or just your perspective on life, like post this happening to you. Like, honestly, bro, I don't think I've ever heard anyone go through this much stuff. That's like, man, you must have some big balls
Well, I
to
didn't
say,
even mention like we didn't even get to talk about Elizabeth. She's passed 2 days after her fifth birthday. She was the big part of me
yeah,
that gave me a lot of fight for that cancer. Like I just buried her a few years before. So like
yeah,
before I was diagnosed, my niece had a midline glioma. So she was four when she was diagnosed with a midline glioma as well. I don't know if anyone knows anything about a midline glioma, but
uh-huh,
it's a death sentence. It's a brain tumor that only attacks children. I don't know. There was a little boy who died on the news earlier in the year. He was they had the police funeral for him and everything, and he'd done a fair bit with the SA police and
yeah,
that.
I did see that.
He
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
little boy. He had a midline glioma, so it's a
yeah,
death sentence for children. So I was there with them at the time. I'd just come back and was living with my sister. I'd just gone through a breakup from a 14-year relationship and was going through a divorce and was living with them while my niece was fighting with a midline glioma. So she was battling with that down in Adelaide at the time. So she was just a normal 4-year-old girl, like bubbly, bright, no problem at all. Then all of a sudden, she got up one day and she couldn't walk or talk properly. Um, and then by that point, they'd had to rush her to Adelaide. Same deal. Like it's a brain tumor, it's a cancer. It's like so, they were straight away in the system trying to fight for more time with Elizabeth as well, which was extremely tough watching this little girl, which was my rock. I was there from the day she was born. This
yeah,
I love my nieces, everything to me, and then the fight and determination she had. This little girl, 4 years of age, fighting, and the way she had more strength than I have ever seen in any single person in this world. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
watching this little girl go through what she went through, just so much determination, so much fucking heart. Everybody she touched, she was able to have an impact on, and what she went through. And it was like even going through that, I had a lot of people from the music community supporting Elizabeth as well. I had people sending in messages like Lindsay Schoolcraft from who sang with Cradle of Filth sent
yeah,
like audio messages for my niece and a few other bands through the scene through what I was doing was able to send her little videos and audio messages because she was a little metalhead, mate. She got
yeah,
me into Bring Me the Horizon. I knew him,
yeah,
but she loved him. She'd
yeah,
sing Teardrops and all these Bring Me the Horizon songs over and over again. So through my contacts, I was able to send out some nice messages for her and that. But she went down Adelaide and she fought with everything she bloody had. And they'd done the radiation and then she lasted till her fifth birthday and then kind of went into a coma and then passed away 2 days later. And then a couple of years later, it's like at that point I was going through the divorce as well, which was sad. And then I'd lost everything at that point. So the
yeah,
relationship, niece, everything. I was homeless at the time, and then a couple of years later, I ended up being diagnosed with cancer myself. So it was like just such a tough time. The last 5 years have been absolute hell. And that little girl gave me so much fire and determination that when I was diagnosed, as hard as everything I've been through, there was no way I was going to sit back and go, fucking poor me. Oh no, me. Like when I just watched my niece fight with every single fucking inch of her. So like when I got this, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fucking I'm just gonna fight. I'm not gonna fucking sit here, poor me, and oh, fucking, this is it. I'm done, and I'm gonna, you see some people in that victim mentality. I swore to myself I wasn't gonna slip into that. What right would I have to slip into that?
Yeah,
If anything, I'm gonna use her fight and determination. She was right with me all along the way. I don't know. We're talking about spirituality and what people believe and what they don't believe. I'd believe she was there with me every step of that fucking way, like getting me through that as well. So yeah, yeah, dude, it was a bit of a tough thing that as well.
jeez, man. Jeez, man. I only wish that the best things happen to you for the rest of your days, man. You've
Yeah,
got
dude,
to.
same.
Oh my God. My God. And so life now, like I guess you'd have a just totally
Different outlook.
different perspective on just day to day kind of appreciation of things and your relationships with people. Like every encounter I've had with you, you've just been like, whenever I see you, you just you just smile around. You're like, hey man, like those type of people. I'm guessing you've probably always been like that though. Just is that right to assume? Or but
Yeah, more so now. Like I'm not
yeah,
like more so now. Like I've looked at everything I've gone through, and I've like even the last year when you hit remission, like you come out of that. I've said a couple of times, you go through something like that, you process it every day. It wasn't until I got through the end of that that I was like, fuck, okay then. And I went through a breakup. The person who was with me all through that chemo battle was like too much for them. We just weren't working. It just fucking ended. So I've just gone through
yeah,
this and then relationship breakdown, then trying to process the cancer stuff. It took me nearly a year to get my head around it. So I'm
yeah,
like, and then you feel like you're in a race, like you can't help. You go, oh, you're going through that. You go, okay, I'm remission. I could fucking die tomorrow. My head felt like it was in some sort of race with life.
yeah,
Like I went through that, and I'm like, man, I've got to rush everything. I've got to do everything. I don't know how fucking long I'm here. I just needed to slow things down a little bit. And yes, I can go in the next lot of tests, and it can come back as cancer. And like my second cousin said, oh, they're keeping a close eye on it. So if it does come back, they're going to be straight onto it. But then you kind of got to think about it like and aware, but also you can't lie to yourself. So I'm like, yeah, this could happen, but it also can't. So it's remaining grounded in this moment right now and not getting too far ahead. Buddhism, I've been diving into a lot of Zen Buddhism stuff, remaining grounded and present in this moment now, and all those things that have happened to me as horrible as they are. And everyone's been through some type of hell. Everything I've been through, all the relationship breakups, the shitty things I've done, because I'm not fucking perfect. Like nobody's fucking perfect in this world. All I can do is look at them as lessons and try and do better next time and go, okay, then and I can't change the fact I'm in remission. I can't change the fact I've gone through cancer. All I can change is this moment right here, right now, sitting with you. So
yeah,
kind of remaining present and grounded. Like I have a few mantras I repeat to myself, and then when your thoughts start swirling 100 miles an hour, you just kind of bring yourself back to this moment and try and remain grounded and just realize that life, there is an impermanence to life, and have that detachment, but that appreciation as well for life and for people. I suppose you don't go through something like everything I've been through. It's like two ways. It can turn you into an absolute fuck everyone and everyone get fucked, or it can make you really loving and caring because you go, everyone else has got something going on. You don't know what other battles someone's hiding behind their eyes, just like me. People
yeah,
talk to me, see me out, and, oh yeah, it's not till you talk to me, you go, oh fuck, this cunt's been through a bit, and that's how I feel about everyone. So
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
try and be a decent person to everyone, regardless who the fuck they are, I'd try and just put out love in this world, and that's as long as I'm here, I'll just want to remain present, grounded, and do better every
yeah,
fucking day. And while I'm here, just try and live my life to the best of my ability.
yeah. Wow. Present, grounded, and do better. That's I'm gonna write that down, man.
Yeah.
And shit, far out. You've blown my mind and heart and everything. Like, man, what a story. Well, to anyone that might be watching this, that's going through a similar journey to yours, what advice would you give them?
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This life has so much. You don't give up. You're not alone. You're not alone. Sometimes it may feel like you're alone, and I've felt like that so many times in my life. And like I've gone through so much hell and through so much despair, but through it all, I've so many amazing moments in my life, so many joys. Like I've made, like we mentioned the music stuff, I've made a place in a music scene, which I'm so bloody proud of. I'm so honored to be able to give back to the music community. I've interviewed people I grew up listening to, you never know where your life's gonna turn or what may come of it, even in the darkest points of your life. You just gotta to get through that. And just remember as dark as the night is, there's always a dawn. It doesn't matter. The night can't last forever. It never lasts forever. It can't last forever, the night. There's always a dawn that follows a night. It's that's about all I can say.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh man. We might wrap it up here. I'm just gonna be sitting on the couch all tonight just thinking, oh man. Jai, what an absolute warrior, man. You are like the freaking definition of a warrior to me. Like if there ever is one. And if you see Jai at a gig, buy that man a water.
That's it.
No alcohol.
No alcohol. H2O, mate. H2O. Absolute legend, brother. Thank you so much for listening to my story, people. And remember, you're not alone.
Yeah, and I'll link some support sites and that in here. I'm assuming that people when they get the news like Jai had, they might go searching on the internet and here's something positive for them to stumble across. And um, yeah, man, yeah, I'm just blown away by your spirit and your in the dictionary, man. Resilience, there should just be a picture of your head under the definition. Like for sure, bro. And
That's one thing. Can I just add in there that definition of resilience, people? If there's one thing I've learned, you don't have to be fearless to survive. You just have to refuse to give up.
yeah, wow, wow, man. I'm actually like, yeah. I've been wanting to do this for so long. Like, I've actually been just thinking, how do we talk about this? Like, we talked about doing it, and every time I see you on TikTok, or I'm just like, it's always there, but I was almost a little bit scared, like, because because I think when you hear this story, honestly, man, the first thing everyone just thinks, what if that happened to me? And it's scary. It's because it can just happen. It can happen. You know what I mean? It's like with my sister-in-law, it was just, happy days, and then next minute she's gone. Um, and yeah, what you said about just like me and my wife talk about this all the time, just staying, just do now. Don't worry about tomorrow. If you do now, right, tomorrow is going to be, the chances are tomorrow is going to be okay. Just do today right. Do the next right thing. Be present. Be appreciate everything. Um, and hearing this story, man, like, yeah, it's really like thank you so much, Jai, because your story is freaking gold, man. It's I think if I ever in the future think whatever, I'm going to come back and watch this myself and be like, man,
No, it's an
wow,
absolute honor. If I can help anyone else who's going through something as well through the battle I've been through, then I'm always going to be there for people to help other people talk about my story. If I can help lift other people in the things that I've gone through, as sad as it is, it was all worth it.
yeah, man, brother, love you, man. You are
Much
an
love,
absolute
brother.
gem. Thank you so much for sharing this, man.
Much
And
love, brother.
yeah, I promise I'll never eat bacon in my life. That's nix that.
Done.
And thanks so much. And yeah, check out Jai. Check out his Crank Radio. I'll put all the links here. Follow him on follow him on everything. Send him some love. Share his stuff. Share his interviews. Let's he deserves it, man. Come on. Come
Cheers, brother.
on.
Much love, man. Cheers, dude.
No worries. I'll just turn this recording off.
Yeah, yeah, man.